Hello fellow writers and welcome back. And yes, there is a crack on my selfie mode, which is why all the crazy lighting. So I apologize for that, but it's the best I can do right now because I am rushing to go get this video edited. And I finally have a video for you. Let me give you the 60-second version. So I am the least tech savvy person that I know. Was not aware of a simple glitch that took place on my camera. Husband found it, fixed it, we're back in business, but that was like 6 months worth of vlogs I was not able to make. So let me do the next 60-second version to catch you up on what's been happening over the last 6 months and why I am here giving you a Camp NaNo vlog when I was in the middle of world building the last time you saw me. So that last vlog, I was right in the middle of the history timeline for the entire world that I was working on, and I was doing really well. There was a good flow happening. Long story short, I finished the history. I did a significant amount of work in the nations and cultures that I was working with in the era of the actual story. And then in May, I started having these ideas for the story. Now, this is the first book in the series, and so far this has been the only one that I hadn't had like tons of ideas for. And I believe it's because this story is actually like the year, or not the year, the month to 2 months before the events of the first chapter of the first draft of this book that I wrote many years ago. So it's basically like the prequel to the book. So it was just, I don't know, it was a whole thing. But I started having these ideas, I was writing them all down, and I started doing character work. And then out of the blue I got an idea, and I sat down and I started writing a potential first scene for the book. And it happened. And now I'm not going to be using that scene at all in the book, but it was a start. It got me going, and then a couple of weeks later, I got another idea for a potential scene earlier in the timeline that could be a new opening scene for the book. Sat down and wrote it down, and at that point I realized, you know what? I don't need to wait. I have enough world building done that I can start moving forward with the process, and that was very exciting since the last that I had talked to you guys, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it until like next year. So yes, suffice to say, I was very excited, and I started diving into brainstorming mode and outlining and working on my character arcs. And through that whole process, I ended up here at Camp NaNoWriMo, first drafting this book. So it's not to give any spoilers. I'm not going to say how this 2 weeks have been, even though this is post 2 weeks. But you're going to enjoy this. I'm really excited to share what I have going on. So let's begin with, I believe it was Wednesday. The first Wednesday of July. I did not end up getting the first couple of days because, again, the glitch, I didn't discover it, and I apologize for the noises. That's my husband being silly with the kids. But, where was I? He completely distracts me every time. I didn't discover the glitch until after camp had started, so I missed the first couple of days, but the rest of it's here for your enjoyment, so enjoy! Hey everybody, it is Wednesday the 7th, no, the 6th. The 6th, and it's about 9 o'clock at night. I'm gonna have to wait till later in the weekend to film an official introduction to this video and explain where the heck I have been for the last 6 months. But for now, I wanted to just kind of share with you guys where I'm at and what I'm heading into tonight for the final writing session, because it is very exciting. So really quickly, let me show you what I've already done via my word count tracker. So I actually have 2 word count trackers. I have a word count tracker in here in my writer journal, and then I have this really cool NaNoWriMo game board that I got from Heart Breathings, which just is so much fun. This one I'm using to count the exact words that I get every day, and then obviously I can still color in if I miss a day. But I'm counting every single set of words that I write. And then in this one, if I can find, not too far. Try and use one hand here. This one, I'm writing what my target is, which every day is going to be 1,500, and then what my actual word progress is at the end of every day. And this was where I was sitting as of this morning. That's not where I am at right now, obviously, because I wrote this afternoon, but that's where I was at as of last night's writing set. I am currently right now sitting at 13,856 words, and I have this crazy idea of hitting the 15,000 word mark tonight, which would be halfway to my goal of 30,000 in the first week. In less than the first week, in the first 6 days, and that's skipping a day on the 4th. If I could do that, I would just be so proud of myself, and I think that that is part of what this whole experience is going to be for me, is proving to myself that I can write a good book at a decent pace, and that I can win a freaking NaNo post childbearing number 3. So we're gonna see what happens tonight. I'm gonna hop off of here, do some writing sprints. I have a friend who's gonna be online as well, and we'll do some time sprints together. And then yeah, I'm gonna have to talk more about it tomorrow when I actually see if I made it to the 15,000 word mark, but I'll explain some more of my plans then. For now, let's write. I actually made a boo-boo. I forgot. I was pushing the top of the paragraph down to start a new segment every time that I started a sprint, and then backing it up when I was done so that it all flowed and starting a new one. I forgot to do that like I was going to, but then I was waiting on my friend to start the sprint, and so I started writing, and now I don't know where I started. I know that it's not the full 700 words that I have here. I already put in 137. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll remove 137 from the count, and then I'll add that in. Just one of those things, you know, just one of those things. It's 10:05 when I started. Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm going to bed now. Before I jinx myself. My goal was 15,000, guys, and I hit 17. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Honestly, I hit the 15K. The scene was going well. I think that's one of the things, is that word count is very important. It will push you to just do 100 more, because if you do 100 more, you'll hit this mark, or, you know, oh, you're so close to this mark. But also having a scene where you're just like, it's kind of like they work together. Like, I use the word count to push me to do just a little bit more, because then I'll get to this milestone. But then when I get there, I'm like, oh, yeah, but now I'm into the story and I want to see what happens next, because I as the author, I'm dying to know what happens. And then I get going and I'm like, well, I'm only X number of words away from this milestone. Let me keep going. And then I end up going to bed at, after midnight, which is not good. But I'll take it. I can always nap tomorrow, which I shouldn't. I need to write tomorrow. But anyways, God, I'm so excited. And it's going really, really well. This last scene that I worked on was a bit of a challenge at first, because I was having to get into the scene of basically like a parliament debate, or Congress or Senate, whatever, where you have these different people who they have the spot for a little while, and they're debating different points, and then you're trying to keep it engaging. So I made it a little bit maybe more dramatic than you would see in an actual meeting of that kind, just so it wasn't like boring as all get out. We all wanted to stab our eyes. But then it morphed into Mark, my main character, has what we call it? He's got a bit of a complex when it comes to his dad, because his dad has been, this great diplomat. He's got the silver tongue. He knows how to calm the room down and make himself heard while making you feel like you're heard, and kind of is very persuasive. And then Mark feels like he's the total opposite of that, of course, because he's just not that at all. So I got to really like lean into that and lean into some of Mark's insecurities, and also lean into just like how terrible he is at this whole thing. And yet his goal in life, his career choice of life, is to eventually become the premier, which is the head, the top leadership position, similar to like a prime minister or to a president. It just, he tries so hard, but he's so terrible at it. So I loved it. It was long, but it was good. Very curious to see if I keep this up tomorrow or if I just like completely crash and burn. We're gonna see. But I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. It is July 7th. I am so tired. But
July 7th?
Yesterday was so worth it. I'm getting on here now first thing in the morning because I was laying here realizing I don't know when I'll be able to write today, except possibly tonight right before the kids get in bed, because we are set to go to the pool this afternoon, and then I have a writing call tonight.
Pool?
Do you want to go to the pool? Yeah. You like to swim? Yeah.
Okay.
And because I am so tired, I am definitely going to need a nap before I go and attempt to wrangle everybody down at the pool by myself. So I am going to plan on doing school with the girls this morning, which is not like heavy duty school. It's lightweight school. So we're going to do some light school this morning, some reading, some coloring, some fun things. And then I'll take my nap and go to the pool, have supper, and then tonight before bed I'll see if I can sneak in maybe a half an hour to an hour of writing before the kids go to bed. That should be enough to get me my 1,500 for the day. And after yesterday, like, I'm not really worried about pushing to get more. I need to get something done today. But that should be more than enough. So we're gonna go get breakfast. You hungry? I'm starving. Let's go get breakfast. One thing I've really been enjoying about this particular drafting process has been the scenes themselves. So one of the ways that I gauge filler material, which is material literally just thrown in to fill in gaps between important scenes, is how excited I am as the author to write the scene. If I feel like the scene is just going nowhere and I'm just using it literally to fill in that gap, then that's a sign to me this scene does not need to be in this book, because it will be boring to the reader. And I have only had one scene so far that came close to that, and it wasn't so much that it was boring so much as it was that I didn't feel like I was doing justice to the scene. So I think that's one of the things that during the rewrite I'm just gonna have to go back in and see, how I feel about it then. But yeah, so far 5 scenes written, only one of them has been even remotely not crazy exciting to me to write, so that's huge. Another thing is that I'm writing additional scenes in this draft that will not be in the final version on purpose. This book is going to be strictly from one point of view, the main character Mark, but there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that he doesn't know about until later in the story, and I, as the author, am having trouble making sure that I keep track of what's going on. So what I figured I would do is throw in a couple of scenes from some different points of view that would allow me to see those meetings that are happening between bad guys, see this side character doing their little side quest, explore some kind of a relationship dynamic or a power play dynamic through seeing this person's perspective during a scene. So that, again, just me as the author getting to see these situations from a different perspective to help me know later in the rewrite, okay, I pull those scenes out, what kind of gaps are left? How can I sprinkle in this information without info dumping, or how can I spread some breadcrumbs, foreshadow it so that when it comes up later, it's not just completely out of the blue. And then the last thing that I'm really working on hard in this draft is just because I'm working on Act 1, that's my biggest goal for the month, is just to get through Act 1. I am introducing a lot. I'm introducing the world, I'm introducing the situations and the conflicts, but I'm also introducing lots of different characters. And my goal right now, as I'm introducing them, is to go ahead and introduce all of them. And then as I'm going through the story, see which characters stick and which characters can take a back seat. Right now, obviously, like, I have Mark's family, his parents and his sister. I have his fiance and I have his cousin. Now I've introduced a close friend, I've introduced a rival, I've introduced several not mentor characters, but like people that Mark looks up to, that he kind of, they're not like personally connected with him, but he definitely looks up to them, and he's gaining a lot of information from just like watching them live their lives since he plans a similar career. All of that stuff. I'm gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to see like how everything lines up as the book progresses, like which plot lines or subplots, which subplots carry through, which subplots just kind of fizzle out, which ones show up strong in the beginning and the end, but then are completely lost in the middle, and if or when any of them will carry through to the next books. It's a lot to think about. I'm going to go outside and make some notes in my journal. We have been enjoying breakfast outside every morning this week because it has been so nice. Like, it's in the 70s when we get up, and it's in the 70s until like 10:30 or 11, and then it jumps to like the 90s in the afternoon, and a lot of times we've been hitting triple digits by supper. It's, I guess, record heat for this time of year for here, of course, and it's been really hard to do anything outdoors after like lunchtime. So we've been enjoying a lot of outdoor time. So I'm gonna go finish enjoying that with the girls, and then I will catch you guys up later as I sit down to write. Hi again. It is Sunday now. I kind of forgot to film yesterday, and I feel kind of bad about that. But you know what? It's okay. I'm human. I make mistakes. Thursday ended up being a complete crash and burn day for me. I didn't realize just how much stuff we had between the swimming, and then we ended up going to dinner at my in-laws, and then ended up with my writing call, and that didn't end until almost midnight, so there was just no time to write. And then Friday I woke up and all of my energy was gone from being outside in the sun, in the water, chasing kids for multiple hours, and then having to be a conversationalist that whole time, all during dinner, and then all through the night. It had completely drained me. So Friday and Thursday both, I got 0 words in, and I took them as my rest days. I recovered a little bit. I made sure that I was eating some good food. I made sure to take a nap on Friday. I made sure that, you know, I spent some good quality time with my husband, and we got to sit around and talk and watch a movie and have some fun. So those were good rest days. Yesterday, I feel really bad that I didn't film because I got to go to the library. A lot of times on Saturdays, I like to go to the library. I don't always, but when I can, I like to go to the library. And it's just, as soon as I walk in, the air conditioning hits me for one thing. Y'all, it has been miserable. Like, we don't normally get this miserable until like the end of August. It's awful. But it was miserable outside, and I walked in and the air conditioning hit me, and I instantly get that smell of all the books and all the ink and all the paper. And then I went upstairs and I sat, and there's like windows all around in this library, so I got all of this view of green because it's down by the river, and it was so quiet. I got into a comfortable chair and plugged in my laptop, and I sat and I wrote for like 2.5 hours on a brand new scene from a brand new point of view character that I am so excited about. His point of view actually won't come in until a later book because this entire book is all Mark's point of view. But I think I'm pretty much just going to lift this scene and move it over and just change some of the details because I liked it that much. And then I got home, and I was only 300 words or so away from the 20,000 word mark. So I went ahead and wrote a little bit more in the evening. I think I got up to 400 and something. And I hit that 20,000 word mark, and one thing that I am definitely excited about for this book that does not always happen is that not only am I just so into writing it that I'm eager to start writing again the next day, I'm actually into reading it too. I always email myself whatever I write as I'm writing it, like in scenes, like so half of a scene or a full scene at a time, and then store them in my archives in my email account so that I can keep, you know, an online version of them accessible at all times. And I started pulling them up last night, and I started rereading the chapters that I'd already read, or that I'd already written, and it was like, if I am loving reading it this much as the author in its first draft form, that's something that hasn't happened in a while, so I'm really excited. Today I've already written, how many words have I written? I was at a little over 20,000, now I'm a little over 21,000, so somewhere over 1,000 words. Today was actually a lot of shuffling. I had like one scene that was already written, and kind of finagle it around and remove some words and write an entirely new conversation and switch around some descriptions that were no longer applicable, since that used to be the first scene and it's now like the 6th or 7th scene. No, excuse me, the 4th or 5th scene. It was really good. So now my goal for the night, I'll be writing again this evening after the kids are in bed, and I don't have a word count goal. I'm not really worried about that. What I would like to do, sorry, my arm is tired. I'm so wimpy right now. What I would really like to do tonight is to get to the end of this particular scene, which won't be the end of the action. Like, as far as the timeline goes, it's not going to be the end of the event, but at the end of this scene, this chapter would lead me into kind of the aftermath of the major event, and that I can pick up easily tomorrow. So if I could get through that plot point tonight, this is kind of like, I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. Is it the catalyst? Is the catalyst? No, it's not the catalyst. The inciting incident, I think, is what this is called. It's basically the event that causes the character to have to make a choice, and then we're going to spend several scenes with that character attempting to not make the choice, and then we will end up with the first plot point, which is where the character finally does make the choice. So I'm at we'll call it the inciting incident for now. If I've got it completely wrong, just comment below and let me know how stupid I am. So I am going now. I just popped some acorn squash into the oven. I'm going to go over to the in-laws with my husband and kids. They have a giant marble racetrack, which is so cool, that they want the kids to play with. And then when I come back, we'll have supper and bedtimes, and then it's back to writing. And I will try to actually get some footage of me writing this time. So I am so out of the habit of vlogging that it is now Wednesday the 13th. I'm looking at this as a net positive, because I have been so into the story when I have sat down to write that I haven't even thought to pick up the camera to vlog. And when I haven't been writing, I've been resting and recovering. So I'm choosing not to be angry at myself. It's going to take a few vlogs to get back into the habit of this. And I'm just going to quit trying to make it like a week by week video. I'm just going to make Camp NaNo video. I'm just making a Camp NaNo vlog and just enjoy it. And we're gonna do that. I am currently sitting at just over 23,000 words. So yeah, I took quite a bit of a dip. You know, I went all the way up to 20K in like, was it a week and a half, and now I'm like kind of nah. But this happens, and it's one of the reasons why I want to get as many words out as soon as I could. I tend to have giant spikes of like tons of words, and then I'll kind of level out a little bit, and I'll have another spike in a lot of words. And that's what's happened with this project, same as the others. The good news is that so far I have not officially stalled out on story. Like, I haven't gotten to a point where I just was done writing the story, like I didn't even want to write on it anymore. There's thunder. Bright, shiny outside, and there's thunder, which means probably more rain, so that's good. But it could end up just being more thunder and lightning. We're gonna see. Anyways, I have been excited to write the story consistently. I've been really enjoying it. I am currently in the middle of writing the inciting incident. The last 2 days have actually been very low count word days for me. I think Monday was like 640 something words, and then yesterday was like 611 words or something. But part of the problem was that I was actually stuck. I reached the inciting incident, which is a scene that I've actually known was going to happen for a while, and I was stalling out on exactly how it was supposed to go down. Like, I knew the basic ideas of, okay, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, but the details had just, like, they weren't there, and it wasn't the kind of scene where I felt like I could just dive in and figure out the details as I went. So I took last night, and the 600 and however many, 13 or whatever words that I wrote were literally just super detailed outline of the scene and the fallout scene or the reaction scene to it immediately after, so that I knew what was going on. And actually last night I felt so horrible physically while I was writing that I didn't think I was going to go back and actually draft it. I figured this inciting incident, I'll come back and I'll draft it later. I'm just going to push ahead tomorrow. But then this morning I had gotten some decent sleep and my eating was better today, and we weren't rushing around to be everywhere. The last 2 days have been crazy. Actually, the last 3 days have been crazy. So I actually had the morning to just kind of get some stuff done, spend some good time with the girls, and not be rushing around. So this afternoon, I actually felt up to writing, and I went back to the beginning of that new outline section, and I started drafting through it, and I completed a huge chunk of the scene. I think it was 611 words this time total. And even though it felt like, oh, it's still only 600 words, but it's like, you know, it's an action sequence, so it's a lot shorter, like it's super fast paced in a shorter amount of words. And this is the inciting incident, like this is what kickstarts everything else. And so it was a really important scene that I at least like figure out the what's happening and then go back in and fill in some of the more like internal dialogue and stuff. So, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. It's gonna need some work, but I'm very pleased. There was a moment at the end, and it's kind of the moment. KM1 calls it the characteristic moment, when your main character really shows what they're made of, and what's gonna make them the hero in the end that we know that they can be. They're just not there all the way yet. Mark, my main character, has a moment at the end of this action sequence where he does something that it just shows who he is. Both his, you know, he's not the crazy, wild warrior guy who just comes in and is taking out, you know, 10 bad guys at once while the victims of the scene are all in the background just looking in awe. He's not that guy. He actually does get hurt, and he doesn't take on 5 guys at once, but he's amazing. And the way that he responds in the situation, and the way that he, like, where his focus is in the situation, is just, it really shows you who he is inside. And so this moment, when it happened, it was just like, yes, this is the moment that I've been waiting for writing, like, all these years. I finally hit Mark's real moment, and this time, instead of being like at the end of the book, it's right at the beginning. So I feel so far that this has been already a win day. I could end the writing today, right now, and be perfectly happy with where I'm at, but I don't want to. I want to write some more tonight. I have a crap ton of stuff to do today left. We're making pizza, so I'm probably going to make up some extra pizza dough and put it in the freezer so we can make pizzas maybe next weekend. And I've been promising the girls, like, for a week we're going to make banana bread and zucchini bread, so I'm like, you know what, we should do that too. So maybe after supper we'll do that. But I also desperately need to clean. Like, I've been trying to clean the house, and it's the tiniest space. You wouldn't think it'd be that big of a deal to clean, but trying to clean around 3 little people who constantly need you, like, they actually play by themselves very well, but it's like constant interruption and getting my head somewhere else. And as someone who is a very slow cleaner anyways, it doesn't really help. So I'm working really hard this afternoon to try and at least get some of the stuff done so that I have a clearer house and therefore a clearer brain. So hopefully tonight I will feel well enough physically and mentally that I can just sit down and work for an hour to 2 hours and really just bust out the rest of this scene and that falling action scene afterward, and bump my word count back up to where it needs to be. I would love to hit 2,500 tonight, and I think I totally could. I do not make any promises to bring you along with me, because goodness knows that may not happen, but I will try to. Happy Thursday, writer friends. Last night was amazing. I was on such a writer high by the end of the night that I genuinely struggled going to sleep. It was that good. I did end up, like, I sat down and wrote for about 45 minutes, and I did end up writing about 1,750 words, which in of itself was amazing. It pushed me past the 25,000 word mark, which was amazing. But what I was really excited about was the scene itself, the inciting incident scene, and just how it went, and gosh, it was just perfect. Obviously, like, in the revision, I'll need to go through and, like, clean everything up really nicely and maybe change some things around, maybe, I don't know. But it just wrote so well and so smooth. And Mark, y'all, Mark is just... So in the original series that I attempted writing and got like 3/4 of the way through the first book and decided it wasn't going well and stopped, that book was good,
but it was very, like, Mark as a main character was very difficult to work with because he just wasn't likable. He wasn't super likable. I have been, in this version, just loving watching him show up, which in that version he was like 18 years old. He was, you know, a hotshot. He didn't know what he was doing. In this version he's 29. You know, it's been 11 years. He's simmered down a little bit, you know. But just getting to watch and see who he really is come through in the story. And something that I'm noticing is a little bit of relief from the expectations of following a beat sheet. I've previously used Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and I have some others, but I don't remember what they are right now because I haven't had my writing books on hand because I put them in storage. But I've used plot beat sheets, I've used workbooks and stuff before where they worked, but a lot of times I felt like I had to come up with a scene that filled a certain plot point, and there were so many plot points within each act that it was like, I have all these things that need to happen in the story, but I don't feel like they necessarily fit exactly what you're saying, so I feel like I had to either change the scenes or added new scenes. And this time I'm just basically filling the bare minimum, right? Like, so an opening hook scene, the inciting incident or the catalyst, and then that first plot point that pushes us into Act 2. So if I have time to write this afternoon, I will definitely sit down and try to work. Otherwise, I will just work on writing tonight. Did it! Ah! I was so excited! I did not get a chance to sit down and chat with you guys last night about it because it was late and I was tired and I didn't want to bother. But I did it. I completed my Camp Nano word count goal of 30,000 words in 2 weeks. 2 weeks! Ah! I was so excited! And it's not, in case you're curious, it's not really so much the word count. It's the flow. I feel like for the first time since 2019, I am truly, completely in the flow in a story that I have been trying to write since I was 15 years old. Ah, I'm so excited. I'm such a high right now. Now, obviously, I'm not stopping now because I am exactly halfway through the outline for Act 1. And granted, I've been throwing in those extra POV scenes, so I don't know if the actual Act 1 is going to be 60,000 words, but it looks like I'm going to need another 30,000-ish, roughly, to complete this act. So I'm going to keep at it. I'm probably not going to keep up quite at the same pace. Like, I'm going to start taking Sundays off again, and I won't feel the same rush necessarily to get the words in, but I may feel the same amount of rush because I do want to get the story in. So I am here at the library. I am going to take a few hours and write like I have been doing and just enjoy the writing, knowing that I am this close to finishing Act 1. I just, if I could use the words that I use in my books to describe my excitement right now. I will talk to you guys in a minute when I'm done and just kind of explain what happens now. But right now I'm just gonna write, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. basically, I have finished up at the library. I ended up getting about 2,300-ish words done, finished the scene, and I am deciding to go ahead and wrap up this vlog. I wasn't really sure when I started vlogging, like, how the vlog was gonna go, if it was gonna be a couple of weeks, or 1 week, or what, at that point, 1 day. I didn't know. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. And then I am going to do another vlog that is going to take you through the rest of the month. I definitely feel really good about my progress, but like I said before, I don't want to stop. I don't want to just kind of end it here. I'm definitely feeling the workout, the mental workout that is novel writing, that is really anything creative. Just the mental energy that it requires to keep pushing through and coming up with material. Even when it's not brand new material, like everything that I had for this scene was already outlined, but the actual conversation, like, you know, coming up with realistic dialogue in the moment, like what would these characters really say, and how do their voices sound unique to them, that takes a toll after a while. So I may not be pushing for full scenes every time. That's something I was thinking about as I was driving away from the library. I'm at the park now. I'm gonna go for a walk and kind of I've been sitting a lot. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm so excited I actually made a vlog. I actually like vlogged the whole experience. I'm so excited that I am getting to do this. When I had those technical difficulties and thought that I wasn't going to be able to vlog anymore, I was like, dang it, I'm actually writing this first book and it's turning out good, and I'm missing being able to vlog the experience, and not just with you guys. I will sometimes go back and watch the journey of different stories and just be re-inspired to keep writing, and I wasn't going to have that for this story. So I'm very excited that I am getting to share this with you guys. Keep your eyes out. I'm not sure exactly when, probably toward the end of the month or the beginning of August, I'll have another vlog out, if there are no more technological difficulties. Now that I know where the button is. I will be putting up another video showing how the remaining 2 weeks go, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will actually have the end of Act 1 in that video, and possibly more about the actual story. So I'm gonna go for now. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend writing, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye!